friends. Oh my goodness, happy Monday. It is a beautiful day here today. It's a little bit windy, so I am sitting on my porch. I'm using, okay, so like December, I bought myself this like tripod stand ring light. I obviously don't have the light on. You can see it in my sunglasses though, because it's right in front of me. It's bright white. And I used it once to take a picture, and I've never used it. But I'm like, why don't I use this handy dandy stand? Probably because it's so big, right? Like, I do have one of those like little ones that I could put in my purse. But anyway, for those of you that are brand spanking new here, let me introduce myself. My name is Brittany Budd. I am the creator and facilitator of this community. I'm super excited that you're here. I'm a mindset and business coach, and I help female entrepreneurs, aka all of you lovely people, to build and scale your businesses to 6 figures and beyond using organic social media marketing strategies. That's what we're here for. That's what we love to see. Yes! Okay. Really quickly, let me give you guys, because I am a few minutes early, I want to share with you guys like one little thing that I am noticing since switching my personal profile to a professional profile. So if you guys remember, or if you kind of saw me talking about it like 2 weeks ago, I think. It's like midnight. Yes, I was still up. I am one of those crazy late night people. I am not an early riser either. I like my sleep and I like to stay up late because I'm a mom, and when we are moms, sometimes nighttime is the only time we have to be by ourselves, right? So it's midnight. If I'm still online at midnight, I always go and check my Facebook memories to see pictures of my little babies, and it was like, hey, turn your profile professional. And I was like, oh, what? Okay, because it was only a thing in the States. I'm in Canada, so it's pretty new to Canada. And so I did it, and so far I've seen very little difference. But one difference that I'm starting to see now this past week is that I cannot physically keep up with the friend requests that I'm getting. It is insane. I'm getting so many friend requests all the time. Sometimes people have hundreds and hundreds of mutual friends with me. Sometimes the people have like no friends in common with me. You always get kind of like the creepers. You can't avoid that. That's unavoidable, but I really don't get too many of those, honestly. And so that's like been something very interesting and new that I'm constantly getting notifications about. The reason I'm constantly getting notifications about it is because you're not allowed to have more than 1,000 outstanding friend requests. If you have more than 1,000, Facebook will just let you know and remind you that if you leave them for too long, I don't know what the window is, but they will go ahead and just start deleting them for you. So I'm getting this notification regularly because I tend to not accept or decline friend requests too much. So I've been adding a lot of new friends, and some of you have joined here. But like I said, I told you guys I would kind of keep you in the loop on the professional profile thing. And so far, that's the only difference that I'm really noticing. So, okay. Let's talk about gaslighting your clients and delegating the CEO position and decisions to your coach. This is like, I feel like this is such a spicy but relevant topic right now, because I started talking about it and I'm starting to see some other people that I consider to be experts, gurus, thought leaders, just queens of the industry. They're also starting to talk about this a whole heck of a lot more. They're experiencing it. I experienced it for the first time like years ago, before I was even a coach. And so I've shared a little bit of my story before, but I'm going to share a little bit more today because I think it's kind of important when we talk about like cult coaching and gaslighting and toxic and abusive coaching relationships. I think that we kind of glaze over our experiences and we're just kind of like, watch out for that thing. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it's going to look or feel or sound like, but just watch out it's not happening to you, right? So I'm going to talk a lot more about it today because I think that as a coach, and being someone who's exposed to that type of culture very early on in my online entrepreneurial endeavor, I really have always tried to be someone that doesn't do that. I don't like putting people in boxes because I don't like being told what to do. I don't like pushing my thoughts and my agendas on other people. I don't think that that's what they come to me for. I feel like I've always said, if you don't want to be in a box, let's work together. And that's not to say that there aren't things that are important that you need to know. Like, I think the tenets of marketing and branding and sales, it doesn't really matter what your business is and what you're trying to build and what your boundaries look like and what your price point looks like and all of these different factors. The tenets are the same, right? Like, you still have to show up. You still have to let people know what it is that you do. You still have to invite them to come and work with you. Those are important no matter what. But what we're seeing in this industry, and especially the business coaching industry, and as a business coach, I feel like I need to talk about this probably more than I do, and I feel like I talk about it a lot, but it's very easy for business coaches and other coaches, but because I'm a business coach, I'm going to speak from my lens. It's very easy for my clients to make me the CEO of their business. Like, it's so simple for them to come into our one-on-one calls or to come into the 10K formula group or those group coaching calls and say, what do I do, Britt? And that's one thing to ask me my opinion. I'm always going to have an opinion. But it's another thing to take everything that I say as like Bible and go do it. And I think that that's what we're seeing so much happening. And it makes sense because we always say, you know, once you've kind of figured out what it is that you're doing, go sell that thing, right? That's how your bread and butter is made. But unfortunately, a lot of the time, that means that you're selling people into the box. You're like, here's this great box. Check it out. It's got snacks. We've got Netflix and blankets. That would get me in a box. And so people buy it. And then they're doing the things. They're taking the actions. They're doing everything they're being told to do. And sometimes it even works for a while, right? Like, you start making some money and you're like, this is working. I'm doing it. And it doesn't take very long for you to go, okay, I'm doing it, but it doesn't feel good. It doesn't quite feel like me. It feels like my coach. But maybe that's okay, right? We kind of convince ourselves, maybe that's okay. Because I'm trying to build a business that looks like hers, so maybe everything about what I do needs to look like hers. But what's happening is there are so many coaches who are like, it needs to look exactly like me. And so let me share a little bit of my experience. So I was not even a business coach yet, and I invested multiple 5 figures into a mastermind. And it was a fucking shit show. Like, let's just get that out of the way. It was a fucking shit show, okay? Because this coach was so abusive. Like, she was the queen of gaslighting and narcissistic abuse. But she sold it in such a con woman way that we were fucking brainwashed. We were brainwashed. When I got the balls to leave, I really saw how brainwashed we all, and some of them continue to be, were. So I invest at this high level. We did not have the money to do this, friends. Can I just remind you that I had like nothing to my name? And that's how a lot of us start. But I thought, and I knew, and I know that free shit is not going to get me where I want to go. Low-level shit was not going to get me where I wanted to go. If I wanted to be a 6, 7, 8-figure earner, I needed to do what 6 and 7 and 8-figure earners were doing with respect to who was in their circle and how they were making decisions and how they were moving quickly and making investments and doing things. And that doesn't mean that everything that we do works out. It fucking doesn't, I can tell you right now. But we need to make those choices, right? So I did. And one of the first things that was abusive that I witnessed, it didn't happen to me, but it happened to another girl named Jenny. And the way that this coach put us in a position of 100% reliance on her was like nothing short of sinister, and almost like, I don't even know. Like, if it wasn't so terrible, you'd almost be impressed. Like, you would be impressed. Like, how the fuck? Like, it was very, and this is like when we talk about the cult coaching, like, she was very like the Warren Jeffs of our situation. If you're watching Pray and Obey and Be Sweet or whatever the fuck it's called, I watched it. It's so bad. Anyway, so she gave us her program. Now, lots of business coaches have programs. I have a program. It is in no particular order in 10K membership. You can just go in and poke around and pick whatever course at the moment feels like you want to have it. There's no rhyme or reason, but hers was very rhyme or reasoned, and she had it so that she gave us permission to enter the program, even though as soon as we bought, we had access. But she gave us permission to enter the program when she felt that it was our right time. And she wanted us to just do one like class at a time. And when we were done the class, we were to bring it to her with all of our like realizations and our questions, and then we would be given permission again to go to the next class. So the first time I saw abuse, what I would have taken it as abusive, it had happened to me, was this girl Jenny came and she was talking about like one of the classes, and out of nowhere the coach went, "Hold on. According to my notes, you should not be on that class. You should be like 2 classes back. What do you think you're doing? I did not give you permission to skip ahead." And I remember sitting there on this group coaching hall being like, she's getting yelled at by the teacher in front of everybody. Like, it was very much like that energy, like, oh my goodness, everyone is seeing this. Why? No. And this poor girl was just like a deer in the headlights. And so that was very much like the first instance where I was like, oh my goodness, this is extremely abusive and gaslighting. And so as I kind of progressed through my year commitment with this person and in this community, I got called out once in a group coaching and by this woman's husband, who also used to come in and coach us once in a while. One thing that I fucking hated about that community, and I'll never do, is that we all bought to be coached by her, and she hardly ever fucking showed up. She was not around. She had guest coaches almost every week, and it was a mess. So her husband decided that he wanted to yell at me. So this is a man in a group full of women who is yelling at me because he was accusing me of jumping ahead in the course, which I was not, because I am a straight A, like perfect teacher's pet student, and I saw what happened to Jenny, so you better fucking believe it was never gonna happen to me. That never happened. So I just sat there. I was like, I did not skip ahead. He's like, no, I think you did, and gave me a really hard time. Would not even coach me on my questions, like nothing. Friends, when I tell you it was bad, trust me, it was so bad. The energy was absolute garbage. So like those are a few of examples that I kind of had to deal with. I remember, so she was a business coach and I wanted to be a coach. I didn't know what type of coach I wanted to be, but she was one of the first people to be like, you should be a coach. And maybe that was, I think that might have been part of the strategy to get people in. Like, oh, I see all this potential in you, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I think that I see potential in people, and I truly believe that I see potential in people. But I don't know if she just said it to get my money or not. She may have. Okay, so one of her things, again, was you do it my way or you're wrong. So her whole model, which was the most fucked up thing, was you run a 21-day, couldn't be 14, couldn't be 30. Those were wrong. It had to be 21 because that's what she thought was the perfect amount. You ran a 21-day challenge and you charged $47. So all of us were trying to map out these 3-week challenges to charge $47 for. That was the thing. And then once you had people in the challenge, then at the end, on the Thursday, the last Thursday, you'd host a webinar. And on the webinar, you would sell them into a 12-week group coaching program for $9.97. Okay? And then once you had so many of those, then you would get them all to an in-person event and you would sell them into like a 5-figure year-long coaching program. We were supposed to use, yes, oh yeah, lots of people do this for like audience building and things like that. But this was like extremely calculated. And if you had any ideas outside of what she was saying, she would just like scold you. And she very much wanted us all to think that she was the smartest person in the room and we were the stupidest people in the room, and that's why we were there. We had to use the woman that made her website. We had to use her. And we had to use ClickFunnels. And we had to use her affiliate link to sign up for ClickFunnels. This is before I really knew anything about affiliate links. Like, this was, like I said, I was not coaching quite yet. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was trying to figure my shit out. So here I am. When she said that we had to use these affiliate links, I thought that it was for our benefit. Stupid me. But no, it was because every person that you get on ClickFunnels to sign up with your affiliate link, you get $10. So she was forcing hundreds of women to sign up for a ClickFunnel because she's best friends with Russell Brunson. This is not Rachel Peterson, by the way. This is a different lady. I very much like Rachel Peterson. So she was making even more money on us because she was convincing us that we had to have a ClickFunnels account and we had to use her funnel affiliate. So she was making recurring 4 figures, if not 5 figures, from us every month just from ClickFunnels. Like, it was so bad. She didn't care about us at all. She doesn't care about her people at all. We were gaslit at every fucking step. Drives me crazy to think about it. So we had to have a ClickFunnels, and we had to, once we were given permission, we were to give her husband $500 a month so that he could play with ads for us. And it was very much like, you might make your money back and you might not. Can you believe this? Like, oh my goodness. But the problem with that is that they were selling these women on a $47 thing. Now, this has nothing to do with the price, but she sold us on this fantasy that she created her business that way. And that was not true. She had an in-person branding company that she worked with small and local businesses in her area and was making upwards of 7 figures before she decided that she wanted to be a business and personal development coach. I don't know what the fuck she calls herself anymore. And selling this $47 challenge, and she's running ads and all of these things. But she led everybody to believe that was how she did it. That was not true. And so, you know, there was just so much animosity. I almost forgot to share this part. So here's me. I don't know why, but she was very threatened by me. And I don't say that to be like, everyone should be threatened by me. Like, I'm intimidating. She was legitimately threatened by me, and I didn't see it at the time. I convinced myself that she was pushing me because she loved me and wanted me to be successful. But no, now that I'm out and I saw how everything went down when I left, she was very, very, very triggered by my existence in her world. Which is why she forces so many of us to be that big. Like, you are not allowed to grow without my permission. So here I am, I get my challenge ready. I'm at an in-person retreat, like a month after I lost my first baby, Phoenix. This is 3.5 years ago, okay? I just lost her, I'm there. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting ready to do my challenge. Like, I'm ready to launch this challenge. It was called Fearless Firecracker. I'm not very good at naming things. That will never be my claim to fame. It was a 21-day challenge to like take more risks in your life and try to be happier and do the things that you want to be doing. And so I was pretty excited about it. Again, I was only allowed to charge $47. That was fine. But what was happening was she made me a coach in her programs. And so I very, very quickly almost took over being the face of her movement. Like, people very quickly associated me with what she was doing because I was the most visible. Like, she would always talk about me, and she was like off doing whatever, rolling in her millions of dollars she was making off of us, which there's nothing wrong with making millions of dollars. I will be making millions of dollars in the very near future. Like, there's no shame in money, but it was the way she went about it. So I had so many people asking me if they could hire me privately to get more support from me, and she freaked out at me. She told me that somehow I was making her look bad because I had to tell them all no, because they weren't allowed to work with me outside of her containers. So that was my fault somehow. She yelled at me over Voxer, so I got to hear her yell at me over Voxer. And so she told me that no one was allowed to buy my 12-week program if they were in her world at any point, even if they left. And I was like, how the fuck do I track that? How do I track that shit? I couldn't. So she was like, I can't stop anyone from joining your challenge, but like when you do your webinar, you're not allowed to sell. Ask me how this woman did not try to sabotage me every step of the way. I was not allowed to sell on my webinar because there were so many people from her community that joined my challenge because they liked me and they had coached with me and they wanted to hang out with me and they wanted to hire me. And it threw my whole webinar off. Like, I had the whole thing. I had my slides. I was ready because we were supposed to have slides and we were supposed to have stacks. I think stacks are the biggest crock of shit in the world. I hate a stack. I think they're so corny. Because they're fake. I think they're corny because they're fake as fuck. Like, you just make up whatever you want, which fine, everything's made up. But when I watched Russell Brunson at Funnel Hacking Live in like 2019 explain a stack where he was like, you're gonna get my 5 favorite songs, and that is worth $497. You're just gonna send people 5 YouTube links to your favorite songs and charge $500? Or you're gonna get 3 recordings of my favorite affirmations read by me. $11.97. I don't want to listen to you say affirmations to me, Russell. Like, but anyway, so I was ready. I'm ready. I've got my stack slide. Like, and wait, there's more. Like Bob Vila. And I wasn't allowed to sell. It threw me so hard because I'm going through the motions. I'm doing the things. I'm getting the permission from her. And she was like, you're not allowed to sell, by the way. So cool. So I get to the end of my webinar because, of course, it's like the day before my webinar. I'd already been promoting it the entire, like, 2 weeks and 5 days. And I'm, like, stumbling over myself, trying to be like, well, if you're in XYZ community, like, this isn't for you. But if you're not, this is for you. What a fucking mess. It was terrible. So it wasn't long after that we came time to renew. And like I've said to you guys before, I literally had like a physical, like, you know how they always say, like, if you don't rest, your body will force you to rest and you will rest way longer than taking the afternoon off. Like, you are gonna like have a heart attack or get injured or end up very, very sick. And it's like your body will force you to have downtime. Well, like, she sold us on, we had no business making 6 figures until we have been around for like 5 to 8 years. That was her thing. You're not going to make 6 figures until you have been with me for 3 to 5 years, and you need to be in the industry for 5 to 8. And I believed it because she gaslit us so badly. I believed it. I had no reason not to believe it back then. And so it was like, you need me. You can't do this without me. And I very much believed it. So when it came time to renew, I was like, okay, well, I have to do it because I don't know any other way. I don't know any other business coaches. Like, I'm already 1 year in. I'm not going to be stupid and quit right now. Like, if I quit, then I'm quitting on myself, and I'm quitting on my family, and I'm quitting on my dreams. And all of that money that I invested will be for nothing, and I will let everybody down, and I don't want to start fresh with somebody else. Like, but these are the things that she gaslit us with. So I was thinking all the things she wanted me to think, right? Because I didn't know any better. Now I do know better. And so I renewed. Like, I sent her the money. Oh, and please remember that when I was paying the multiple 5 figures the first time, she told us that we could never quit, and she was a lawyer, and she was going to sue us if we decided to quit and stop paying. And so that was when I started selling pictures of my feet to make sure that that bill was paid, because I was fucking terrified, and I wasn't allowed to make any fucking money. She was my business coach. She wouldn't let me make any money. That was like the worst part. I think my can is metal. I could just crush it in rage. And so to renew, it was significantly cheaper, okay? Significantly cheaper. It went to like a few 4 figures. And I was like, sweet. So again, I put it on a credit card, and I thought that I was feeling excited. Because our body doesn't know the difference between excitement and nerves. The physical symptoms are the same. Your heart races and your palms get sweaty. And like I just talked about this the other day with you guys. Your palms get sweaty and you're kind of shaky and your heart's palpitating. So I was like, I am so just excited to do another round. Of course I'm going to do it. This is the best thing for my business. I had no idea what she thought she was going to teach me that she didn't already teach me. But that's what she told me. And the excitement like started to manifest itself in a very different way physically in my body. Like, it went from the typical like, oh, like palms are sweaty, like Eminem, like I feel like I'm gonna throw up spaghetti, like to like full on panic attack. Like, my chest was tight. I could not breathe. I was like, every time I thought about it, it was just like physically pulling me to the ground. I felt like just like all the air sucked out of the room every time I thought about it. And I was like, this doesn't feel right. And because I had been shoved into this situation and I was with her for well over a year, I did not trust my intuition at all at that point. Like, my intuition was wrong about absolutely everything. She was right. I paid her to be right. That was her job. And so she made all of my business decisions for me. She gaslit me anytime I tried to get out of line. It was so bad. And so I was like, this just doesn't feel the way I think it should feel. And I made the very terrifying decision to ask for a refund. We hadn't even started yet, okay? And so it was like, I think it was like 5 days later, I got the balls, the guts, the kahunas to say, I don't think I can do this another year. I'd like to have a refund. And I got the response I expected, which was, I'm a lawyer. I don't have to refund you at all because it's been more than 3 days. So I will refund you, but you better not dare tell anyone that I did. And I was like, what? Oh my goodness, this is so scary. And so after I left, and I've shared this with you guys before, but if you're new watching this, she banned everyone from joining this group because right after I left, I made this group because I knew I needed to start my own community. She was very clear that her community was her community, and anyone that's ever bought anything from her ever in her entire existence was off limits. And so I was like, I need to make sure that I have my own community of people that will buy from me, that I can talk to and not be yelled at. And so that was how I started this space. And so many people from her world joined my community. And before I knew it, she told them all that if they joined this community or were in it and didn't leave immediately, they would be removed from her communities. And so everyone that I was friends with over there turned their backs to me. And I was wholly and entirely alone. Which was perfect. It did work out. But it was so scary and so gut-wrenching that they felt that they couldn't even talk to me. And then before I knew it, all of those coaches were given contracts written up by her that said that if they leave, they are not allowed to have a coaching business for 1 year. I can't imagine how sick and greedy and I feel like no integrity at all. And just that whole concept of someone that preached abundance mindset was so enveloped in lack and scarcity that she forced all of those girls to sign 12-month do not competes. How is that even legal? It's really not. That contract would have enough holes in it because the women, like I was in Canada, she's in Tennessee, or no, I'm sorry, she's in Boise. Most of the women were spread out all over the States. I was the only one in Canada. They were spread out all over the States. And so it wouldn't have any legal standing in a lot of the places that they're living. And even then, let's pretend that someone was in Boise. There are a couple of them in Boise, I believe. Unless they were like ripping off her entire program, she cannot monopolize personal and professional development. Like, that's not a thing. But because she's a scary bitch, a lot of them, most of them stayed. I've only just heard recently, within the last 6 months, that some of them have finally left. So it's been 3 years since I left, and no, it's been 2.5 years since I left, and it's only been like 6 months since some of the original girls left, and I know that they were waiting for the 12 months, and I was just like, that is so fucked up. That is so fucked up in so many ways. And so I share about my story, but I'm also seeing so many women that are in like 6-figure masterminds with like 8-figure coaches who are being gaslit and abused at every turn, that their way is the way. It is the right way. It is the only way. And if you're not doing it that way, then you're doing it wrong. And I literally watched about 6, 7 and 8-figure earners walk away from an 8-figure business coach who has been around for like a decade because she was gaslighting them and taking their position as CEO of their businesses. Like, it's never okay as a business coach or as any type of coach, but I'm speaking from myself as Big Clit Energy is like open to book calls with me right now. It's never okay for me to put myself on a pedestal. It's never okay for you to put me on a pedestal, because I think that there are 1 million ways to make $1 million. There's probably even more than that. And I think we're seeing like a lot of women are burning their businesses to the ground and then rising from the ashes to do things the way they've always wanted to do it. But it's very difficult when we are in an industry that's like, I have the way, come over here, let me show you the way. When really there are so many different paths. And that's not to say that one path is better or worse than another. It's that some paths go through fields of flowers and some paths go along the riverbed. And if you prefer flowers, you don't want to be on the riverbed. You want to be in the field of flowers. Right? Like, we need to trust our intuition. We need to say the things that we want to say. I think so many people look at other business coaches, for myself as an example. I see a lot of people copy my shit. I see so many people copy my shit. And I'm never mad unless someone like bought my program and then like joined the membership, went through all of the coursework, canceled their membership, and then all of a sudden we're selling like 10K foundation inner circle membership instead of the 10K formula. I would be like, what are you doing? But I'm never mad when someone steals my content, because I feel sad. Because I know what it's like to not trust yourself at all. I know what it's like to think if I just sound like her, I'll have her success. Like, she's obviously saying the right things. So if I just say and do the things that she's doing, my success will be inevitable. Because it feels like that. And it looks like that. But if you actually think of all the different coaches and entrepreneurs and whatever that you like, are they all saying the exact same thing? No. So I feel sad when someone doesn't trust themselves enough to believe that whatever they say is like good and right and worthy. And I think that that's hard because from very young age, especially us in this room right now, we were told that we are too much. We are told that we are living wrong because we're too loud, or we laugh too loud, or we're too flirty, or we're nerds, or whatever. We're just too much for everybody. And so we were told right away, this thing called living life on this planet, you're doing it wrong. You gotta do it this way. You gotta fit in. You don't want to rock anyone's boat. You don't want to ruffle anybody's feathers. You just want to fit in. That way no one's mean to you. No one's hurting your feelings. No one's upsetting you. You just do what everyone else is doing. And then that bleeds into everything we do. Everyone's going to college, so you go to college. Everyone gets married, so you get married. Everyone starts having kids, so you start having kids. And then you have this big, bold, audacious idea that you're going to start a business. And everyone's like, what the fuck are you doing? Who do you think you are? That is stupid. That is not going with the flow. That is not doing what everyone else is doing. Why can't you just go have a nice 9 to 5 where you get the weekends off and the evenings off and you spend them with your family, because that's what you're supposed to do. But you were like, no, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to be a coach. And so you stepped into this big brand new world and you immediately decided, I got to fit in here. If I want to be successful over here, I got to fit in. I got to say the right things so people like me. I gotta say the right things so people are inspired by me. I gotta say the right things so that I can get paid, because this is my job now. And so I'm just gonna, I like her, I'm gonna follow her, I'm gonna do what she does, I'm gonna say things like she does, I'm gonna sell things that look the way she's selling them, and I'm going to be successful, and I'm going to fit in. And that is what, like, 99% of you are doing. Because every time you showed a little bit more of yourself, you were too much for somebody. And if you're trying to get sales, you need people to like you. Right? Because if people hate you, they're not going to pay you. And so you don't rock the boat in your copy. I'm going to offer you the exact right amount of results for the exact right amount of money. And it is going to be boring as white toast or white bread. But you're going to buy it because I am palatable. And big clit energy is not for palatable women. Big clit energy is for women that don't want to be palatable. It is for the women that are... Listen, it's not about not being scared. Because it's scary. It is scary to say, I like doing things differently. I like grape jelly instead of strawberry jelly on my peanut butter and jam sandwiches. I like Harry Potter. I am a huge dork or a nerd, or I like the things that I like, and I'm not ashamed of it anymore. This is who I am. When I started swearing in my content, I remember having a physical response to typing the word fuck. Because it was one thing to say fuck, but it was another thing to write the word fuck and have other people read it. And I was like, oh goodness. But I really want to say it, because if you were sitting here on my deck with me, I would say it, so I gotta say it. That was like the first unpalatable thing that I've done, was starting to swear in my content and in my copy. But I wanted people to know that this was who I was. And guess what? I lost a lot of people. I also had a lot of people be like, thank you for saying this. And I had people tell me, you shouldn't do that. It is unprofessional to say bad words. Swearing is gross. You're being gross. Oh, even my dad called me once and was like, I'm going to give you a little bit of marketing advice. And I was like, all right, Dad, let's hear it. You forget that I'm a marketing expert, but okay, you have 30 years of experience as an entrepreneur. I can't wait to hear your old white man opinion. But I love you, you're my dad, so let's go. You shouldn't be swearing. It's one thing to swear with somebody in person, it's another thing to write it down and have people read it. You should not be saying bad words like that. It's going to turn people off. Thanks, Dad. I want it to turn people off. That's the point. And he finally gets it now, because when I did the photo shoot for Big Clit Energy in the lingerie with the gold money gun, my mom is very upset. My mom is very upset that I did that, and I'm showing the pictures. And my dad told me that my mom is very upset about this. She does not think that this is appropriate for a mother to be doing. And my dad was like, aren't you reading what she's writing? That's the whole point. So sometimes you can convert a non-believer. But when we think of this industry and we think of people sharing their opinions, you know, coming into Big Clit Energy is not me just saying, oh, do you know what, you should just say more bad words. Or, hey, you should just go have a sexy photo shoot and show your tits. Which nobody saw my boobies, okay. Because it's not about cranking out mini-me's. I don't want carbon copies of me. I want original copies of you. 100% authentic, original, genuine, like limited edition, one copy only, you. And that is going to take work. So in Big Clit Energy, we're going to spend 6 months together. It is going to be a very small community because it's not for the weak. Unbecoming all of the things that you have told that you need to be in order to be palatable and liked, we will be breaking those down. You will be shredding those identities and those masks and those itchy sweaters, as I called them in one of my pieces of copy. And it is beautiful work. It is healing work to change things up. And you might feel like you are going to burn your business down. And I'm going to be like, here's a fucking match, girl. Let's burn this shit and start all over. And you already have a community. You already know what you want to do. You know what you want to say. There is a profound power in being yourself, in showing up as yourself, in saying exactly what you want to say without mincing words, without editing it, without wondering if, oh, will B approve of this? I approve of everything, okay? As long as you're not hurting people. As long as no one's being hurt, you should do whatever the fuck you want. That's just my stance on all life across the board. It is going to be deeply and cosmically transformative for the women who are ready to do this work. And it doesn't matter how much money you have made. I know a lot of people are like, whoa, this is for women that have already made 6 figures, who are like, I've made 6 figures her way, and now I want to shed that shit and do 6 or 7 figures my way. I don't give a fuck how much money you've made. Maybe you've just started and you're like overwhelmed and you don't know who the fuck you are. At the end of the day, no one knows who the fuck they are. Because we have been told and told and told who to be. Be the good wife, be the good mom, be the good sister, be the good student. Do the good things. Be the good friend. Be the good coach. Don't rock anybody's world too hard. Boats are getting flipped. Feathers are being ruffled. That is what it takes to change the world. And when you decided, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur, it was because you saw something in yourself. There was a tiny whisper that was saying, let's do that. I have a little bit more to say. I have a little bit more that I want to accomplish. There are just a few more people that I want to impact. And so we're going to unbecome. And then we're going to figure out who you are. Who are you, girl? We're going to figure out who you are. And what that looks like. And how you show up. And this is connecting to and embodying and expressing the highest self version of you. The future self version of you. Because what I see is, oh, when I have like more followers, I'll change my messaging up a little bit. Or when I'm making more money, I'm going to change up my offer a little bit. But not right now. It's for later, once I've hit this weird metric that I just made up. We're going to do all of the things. We're going to do them now. This is a place of, like I said, it is healing and deep work. It is transformative. It is cosmic. It is divine. It is goddess energy across the board. It is more money. It is more impact. It is more fun. It is all you doing what you actually, okay, I don't need a spider crawling on me. Doing what you actually came here to do now. And because you're going to do this healing work now, and you're going to start showing up as the way you want to show up and sell the shit you want to sell it at. And it doesn't matter if it's $47 for 21 days. It doesn't matter if it's $1 million for an hour. When you show up like this, you will collapse time. You will quantum leap. You will have downloads about where you want to go with this stuff and this work and what you want your business to look like. You will make more money. You will attract more people to you that agree with and want to follow along with your message. This mastermind is for like leaders and world changers and mothers who are changing the narrative for their daughters and changing the narrative for themselves. And we're not going to be gaslighting anybody. We're going to be doing better work because we're going to be doing our own work. And we're going to be trusting that we are the perfect conduits to help people do their own work. So like I said, I've always, because of what I experienced, shown up and said, my way is not the best way. It's just a way. And lucky for you, I've seen lots of different ways for business to be done because I've been in lots of different containers and I've invested very aggressively in my own brain. So lucky for you, I know lots of different ways that it could work. Just because they didn't work for me doesn't mean it's not going to work for you. I am very neutral on what it is that you want to say and do. This mastermind is for you to utilize me exactly as I always want to be utilized. As a guide, as a mentor, as a blind spot identifier, as someone that asks you the right questions. Because when you are in alignment and flow and inspiration is bursting from you at every seam and offer ideas are being downloaded for you and you want to run into a million different directions, I am there to help you make it make sense. I am there to help you make it consumable for the average, because you will be on a whole other plane. You will be in a whole other dimension. And not everyone's going to be able to keep up with you when you do this work. And so I am just here to support you and ask you the right questions and make sure that you are listening to your body all the time. Brains don't make decisions. Brains are for imagination and ideas. But bodies and souls make decisions. And we are just going to do the most transformative, amazing work together. So we're going to start, I'm going to give you some homework leading up, some identification homework as we lead into it. July 13th to July 28th, I will be doing intake calls. No applications, no sales calls. You don't need to be sold. This is not something that is for people that need to be sold. It is for people that know they just need it. Like, I'm not here to convince anyone, like, oh, you need to do this. It's better for your business. You're going to make more money. You're going to work less. You're going to have more fun. Like, I say that all the time. That's my thing. But you know that. I'm speaking to the person who is listening to me and nodding along, being like, yep, I know that what is inside of me is not what is coming out of me. I know that I need to do this work. I know that I was meant for more. I know that I was meant to make more money and serve more people. I know that I was meant to lead a movement. You don't need to be convinced. You know that there is a calling in your heart to do this work. And so I just want to talk to you. I want to talk to you before we start. And if you're like, I don't really want to talk to you, I don't have any questions or anything that I want to share or ask you about, I just want in, you can totally just DM me and I can send you a link to pay. The investment for this is $20,000. Your ROI will be astronomically more than that because of the work that we will be doing is going to change everything about you at a cellular level. Please remember that I do have a Bachelor of Science degree in biopsychology. We are literally reconfiguring your brain at a cellular level. So the ROI is way, way, way more. I should charge like $250,000 for this, honestly. But I'm not, because that's too much. It's not too much. It's too much for what I want to charge, but I could. Okay, so it's $20,000, July 13th to 28th. You can book a call with me in that 2-week window right now, and we can just chat. And if you have questions or anything, I think that protecting the integrity of this space is so important, because anytime we've ever shown any ounce of who we truly are, someone has shut us down. And this is a room where that will not happen. Every time you show an ounce of who you are, the other people, including myself, will celebrate and embrace you for that. And so I want to know, before we start, the people that want to be in this room. So I'm going to put the Calendly link. I didn't make a sales page because fuck sales pages. I'm just not doing what I'm supposed to do anymore. I'm not doing what someone else would tell me to do. I'm not delegating the decision to have a sales page to anyone but myself. And I just don't fucking want one. I think they're annoying. I think other people's sales pages are annoying, because I'm already sold. I don't read sales pages ever. I'm just like, where is the button? How far down do I have to scroll to find the button to buy the thing I want to buy? So I'm just like, I'm not doing this. We're not doing shoulds anymore. We're not delegating CEO decisions to anybody else. We're doing our own thing. We're not being gaslit into believing that we need a sales page. I'm not doing it. So it's literally just a Calendly booking page. Like 20 minutes. I think I set them up maybe 30 minutes. Just to get to know each other a little bit more deeply. And I want to hear like why you feel that this work is important to you. And why you are ready to stop playing small and have your light be put under a bushel. Is that what it is in the Bible? Or a basket or whatever. And just why you want to do this. Why you feel like you're ready to break free from the expectation of other people. And so after that, like I said, I'll send you a couple of emails with some homework just to prepare you. You don't have to send it back to me. It's for you to get ready. And then September 4th, we're going to dive right in. Or sorry, the 5th, I think, is Monday. That's right. September 5th, we're going to have a private Facebook community. We're going to dive straight into doing some of the work and identifying some of the stories that we have been carrying as truth and fact, and start the process of becoming you at your fullest and highest expression. Oh my goodness, I feel like I'm going to cry right now because I'm just so excited. There's nothing I love more than a woman in transformation. Like, truly. I cry every week. At the end of every 10K week, like group coaching call, I cry a little bit. Because I'm just so, I say this all the time, I'm so touched and so honored that I get to get a tiny behind the scenes view of what's going on in these powerful women's lives. And so I feel, oh my goodness, I feel honored and blessed to even be called to do this work. Because I really feel like I have been called to do this work. I feel like this has been my purpose and always has been my purpose and always will be my purpose. I'm very passionate about this work. And it's just an honor. It's an honor to be the messenger for this, and it's an honor that the women who join and invest in themselves are doing so because they're looking to me to help them. Like, this is, I love being a mom, but this is my life's work. Okay, so I'll put the link in the comments, you guys, before I start blubbering like an idiot. We're not gaslighting. We're not abusing. We're just being ourselves. And this is a very high expression of self-love and self-worthiness and self-acceptance. My God, if only we could accept ourselves more, right? We're going to be doing all of that powerful work, and you are going to show up more powerfully, and you are going to turn a lot of people off, but you're going to turn a lot of people on too. And they're waiting for you and your message. So my friends, I'm very excited. You can book the call right now. You got a 2-week window to do so. You can DM me anytime. I always answer my DMs. And I'm just very, I don't even have words. My brain just went completely blank. Like, I'm just very grateful. Okay, my loves. It's a beautiful day. I'm taking my kids to my parents' pool again. My dad put in a pool last fall and told me, I'm only going to put this pool in if you promise to come with the kids, like, all the time. So I said, okay, better you than me. So we were there yesterday and we're going back today because it's hot. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Please, 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 if you are in this space and you felt and have felt in my copy and content, I said to my coach Sam yesterday that almost all of the copy that I have put out for Big Clit, you'd think that it would be like my spiciest, most vulgar and crazy. But it's actually the most written like a love letter. Like, I cry every time I write a piece of copy because I just feel so passionately about it. You'd think that it would be very vulgar, and it's not. Anyway, if you've been seeing it, if you've been watching, if you've been reading, and it is speaking to you, that's all the selling that needs to be done. We're not creating fake urgency. We're not putting, well, I mean the deadline, because we're holding the integrity of the space, so we do have a deadline. But it's like, it's not limited spots. It's not hurry, fast action bonus. It's none of that bullshit. It's, you feel this, and it's time to take that action. And that's what Big Clit is all about. Feeling this and taking that action. Feeling this and taking that action, even when it feels scary. So that you can do more, bigger, better. Because that's what you feel called to. This is the time. It's not like 5 years or 10 years or 20 years into the future. It's now. We're doing it now. So if you're ready to do it now with me, then let's do it now. All right, loves. Have an amazing day. I love you all. Thanks for hanging out with me. I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to be talking about some of the shoulds in business, and we're just not fucking doing it anymore. Fuck that noise. Bro marketing, down the drain. We're not listening to men anymore. They don't know anything. We're only listening to our pussies and our souls. I'm just joking. Well, you can listen to your pussy. You should definitely listen to your pussy. It has a lot to say. But we're listening to our bodies, and we're not listening to dudes anymore. No hate to dudes. I love my husband. I love men. Okay? Very much the share. I love men. They're very cool, but I do not need a rich man because I am a rich man. That is who we are. Okay, I'll see you all tomorrow.